What up, crowdfunders? Salvador Briggman here. Welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Hope you've been enjoying some of the episodes I've been putting out recently. And in addition, you've been checking out the YouTube channel because I share nuggets of gold on that YouTube channel. So I hope that you enjoy it. That being said, I got a killer episode, a killer interview for you today. This is with the founders of Ostrichpillow. And this campaign that we're talking about today attracted more than 7,000 backers on Kickstarter, over 200,000 that's been raised. And in addition, this company actually has a really long, illustrious history of launching different projects on Kickstarter and coming out with different e-commerce products. So some of the stuff you're going to find out about today, not only does how Kickstarter work from the insider's perspective, how it's changed over the years, as well as learn a little bit about distributors and wholesalers and how to go to retail, direct to retail if you want to with an e-commerce product. And we talk about a ton, obviously, about crowdfunding on the podcast, but I really try and share like tricks of the trade, techniques, systems that I developed and also discovered as to how to get more and more funding with your project. But in addition, I would love to as well share more education, more information about retail, wholesaling, manufacturing, shipping, logistics, all the stuff, design that goes into coming out with a new product that other people around the world are going to be able to use, leave reviews on, take Instagram photos of. And I think that's kind of like for everyone that I've had on the show, honestly, we've had like, over 200 people, right? Everyone has said that is what they love most about this process. They love the fact that other people can use their product. They love the fact it's so freaking like, it just lights a passion underneath you that other people can use the product in their everyday use and in the world, right? Isn't that freaking cool, man? Like, I feel like that's so understated. But that being said, you're gonna learn a ton of stuff in today's podcast episode. If you would like to go one layer deeper, I'm talking about, not just listening to a conversation, but really being able to download the exact formula behind this entire process. You can go to the link I'm about to mention, and you can download my audiobook, which I put a ton of thought into, which is a foundational work, and that outlines a lot of these things that we're going to be just talking about on the podcast, and also we've talked about in other podcasts. So this really speeds up the entire process. If you want to go and check it out, that link is crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. That link again, crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio, crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. Just go to that link, claim your audiobook. I believe there's also a free one if you get a 30-day trial with Audible, if they're still running that promo, which is like, a bonus, obviously, because then you can just be continually learning, continually progressing and growing in your career and your life. And it's super exciting. Like, that's the kind of vision that I want to have of my own life and why I'm so obsessive about learning and training and growing myself, right, when it comes to my own business. So if you want to check that out, again, crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter audio. Also share another announcement at the end of the podcast. But that being said, let's get into today's podcast episode with Ostrichpillow eye mask, a pioneering 3D ergonomic eye mask, and learn how they attracted more than 7,000 backers with their campaign. It's coming up right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Today we are speaking with a six-figure campaigner who has raised over $330,000 so far on Kickstarter and also attracted a heck of a lot of attention from different backers out there, more than 6,024 hours to go. This is for iMask, a pioneering 3D ergonomic eye mask, total blackout to rest in pure comfort. And we're privileged enough to have the founder on the show today, Pablo. Pablo, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Salvador. Thank you for inviting us to participate on the podcast. It's a pleasure.
Definitely. Do you think we could get started? Maybe you can just tell the listeners a bit about the product and describe it for them so that they can have a sense of what you're doing here.
Yeah, sure. Well, with this project, iMask is our sixth campaign on Kickstarter. And we started developing this project more than a year ago when, after several questions with our community, we launched a survey, and a lot of people were mentioning the lack of good products when they sleep and with a combination of light. So we started developing and testing all the products. We were analyzing the main issues we found on the market, and we realized that most of the products are developed flat, but the reality is our faces aren't flat. So when you try to adapt this kind of mask to your face, two things happen. One, it appears wrinkles, which are a good place for the light to come in to your eyes. The second one was pressure on your nose, because the space that usually other masks they leave for the nose reduce when you are folding the mask into your face, making quite uncomfortable breathing at night. And that is the reason we developed the mask in a 3D way, so it's made from the factory in that way.
Very cool, very cool. And when it comes to you, you've mentioned doing a few different campaigns. When did this journey really start with you with Kickstarter and bringing new products to market?
Well, we started many years ago. We started in 2012 with the product that we call Ostrichpillow Original. It was quite interesting because at that moment we even had the idea to make this product a reality, but we published some pictures on the internet, and a lot of people they contact us where they could buy the product. At the moment we weren't able to make it because we didn't expect to produce this product, but it becomes a great success on the internet. At that moment we discovered Kickstarter, and we thought it could be an interesting way to test if the idea can become true. Is how we started. In those days, Kickstarter was a more, I would say, naive place. Not so many ads, not so many tricks, not so many things. It was quite basic. I'm quite surprised when I check our first campaign on Kickstarter. It was just like three, four images, a video, and a few texts. And now you have to prepare like properly the campaign with a lot of information, because the also the community it becomes more, not critical in the bad way, but more, they have more, they need more answers, and so you need to have everything ready for them.
Yeah, they have higher expectations, I guess, and higher standards there.
It's a reality that some projects they don't meet the expectations, so the frustration, of course, is something that you need to have in consideration. Also, I remember when we created our first campaign, we launched the campaign and we were still talking with different factories, and we even had like a proper prototype already done. Now this is impossible to do it because the risk is too high.
Yeah, definitely. I remember those early days. To be honest, the ostrich pillow does look super familiar. I was got into the industry like around that time, so I might have seen it there. So one of the differences you mentioned was just a higher caliber and higher standard and those things. Is there a reason you didn't just continue with doing e-commerce and running Shopify store or whatever store that you have there? Why did you keep coming back to Kickstarter?
Well, to be honest, a year ago when we launched our previous campaign, Hitback, I was considering to launch the product on our Shopify. But then I realized that the community on Kickstarter is very powerful in all sense. So it will be a pity to lose that momentum that you have a campaign. Also is in some way like an exercise of transparency, because if we run the campaign in our Shopify, I mean it's our Shopify, we have everything under control. The community that they need to follow our rules, but on Kickstarter is like you can find a good balance for both parties. So I think it's even also a thing about be fairless with the community.
Yeah, I love that. So when it comes to this, like, was this your first company? Have you done a company before Ostrich Pillow? What were you doing before that?
When we created Ostrichpillow, it was as part of a design studio we used to have. We used to work for clients, not for final customers. But in our, I would say, free time, we used to develop ideas like the first one I mentioned, the Ostrichpillow Original. We also developed some other products that they were very conceptual, but they capture the interest of some museums. at the end, Ostrichpillow becomes so big that finally it becomes its own project and its own company.
How have you had to grow from being a designer to then being a CEO of a company and having all these different people working for you? How have you had to personally grow in that process?
Yes, it haven't been, I would say, easy. When you go to the university and you learn how to be like an industrial designer, you never know how to do marketing. You never know how to manage people. There are many things you are missing. But then when you have an idea, you have a project, and also my partners, they are architects and designers. They are not like business people. So when we created the project, then it has been like a big challenge learning how to grow the team, how to find a balance, the expectations, also how to go to the market. Because one thing is you have an idea, you publish on Kickstarter, and that's it. But then if you want the project to grow, you need to start selling this product on the internet, but also on retail. So you need specific people, knock on the door on many places. You need marketing people because when we started, I think we were very lucky. Ossispill Original got a lot of attention on media. Many TV shows that they were approaching us instead of us trying to have any publicity on the product. But it was because it was very special product. Then you realize when you launch other products that I will say are more standard, but also with more competitors, you need to start doing marketing. And at that moment, we were quite unsure about how you do these things. At the end, you need to surround of good people in the team to help you to do all of these things.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're only as good as the people that are around you, right? And the way they can kind of empower you to get your message out there. What, just out of curiosity, while we're on this thread of conversation, how would you say your experience was with like retail and working with, distributors and those types of intermediaries and such? What is your experience like with that?
Well, surprisingly, yeah, I think this is changing for us, but we were born in the internet. We started with an image published on our site. Then we did Kickstarter, but we were in the first years we were more successful on retail than on e-commerce. This is changing little. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't know why, but the reality is our products fit very well on big places like MoMA or Bloomingdale's or Target. So people they found us there, and we were, I guess, very lucky. This is changing, and we are doing like a big effort to become more digital focused, because at the end, with COVID, etc., people is buying more online, so we need to do the effort. It's our reality.
So I want to get into obviously the online strategy in your Kickstarter. My last question on the retail side is, do you have any advice for people that are eventually looking to get into those retail outlets that you mentioned or other ones? Do you have any advice for other designers or creators in the audience?
Yeah, I think as we are designers, we love the whole experience. I backed some projects on Kickstarter that you receive them in a plastic bag, and like in a it's like, okay, this is the product that you back, and this is what you get, the product. For us, the whole experience is very important, and we pay a lot of attention on the packaging, how it's going to be displayed on the store, etc., etc. So at the end, is a good selling point for the retailers to understand how they are going to be able to sell the product once that they have it on the store.
Yeah, so almost like the design abilities you have, you integrate it into the packaging, it sounds like. And then you kind
Yeah,
of have this whole experience where the customer gets it, they get a feeling from the design of the package, the way they open it. It's almost like marketing in and of itself in a strange way.
yeah, I guess we use the tools that we are more familiar with.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Awesome. Well, anyway, so let's turn our conversation a bit to the Kickstarter. So you guys have had some massive success here. I mean, you got more than 6,000 backers. Why do you think people are connecting so much with the product? Is it the element that it's more ergonomic for the face? Is it the design element? Why do you think people are connecting with it? If you're worried about the fulfillment and shipping part of your Kickstarter campaign when it comes to getting out all those perks and rewards to your backers, rest assured, I've put together a complete Kickstarter fulfillment and shipping checklist for you, and it's free. This is sponsored by the folks at Fulfillrite, and they thought that you should have this checklist as part of your arsenal going into a crowdfunding campaign. If you want to get instant access to this checklist and it's free, you can go to fulfillrite.com/checklist. Again, that is fulfillrite.com/checklist. Fulfillrite.com/checklist. Just go to that link and you can download it immediately.
We spend a lot of time on Kickstarter because we love to find cool ideas and projects. I think the key successful for this product, there is not one single reason. One is we know people is suffering of lack of sleep. There are many people talking about the quantity that we need to sleep, but not so people is talking about the quality. But this is reality. People they need to sleep more and better. The second reason is like sometimes we try to make like complex ideas, or we have some crazy ideas, but something that engage quickly, and especially for a Kickstarter campaign when you are like just 30 days on live, is like people they need to connect and understand quickly the need, and they need to understand exactly how this works, and they need to have some, I will say, confidence. And thanks to the six campaigns that we already did with Ostrichpillow, I think people is already trusting on us because they know we deliver our products, and the quality of the previous products that we have delivered. We listen them and we proactively send surveys to the community to listen them. So when we launched the iMask, we already knew that it was a demand of this product.
So as a follow-up question there, you guys obviously have, tremendous success that you can draw on. For someone who's just getting started like you, where as a designer putting out their first product, do you have any thoughts on how they could maybe add a little bit of credibility to their campaign so that people know it's legit, when they're going live with their first one?
Yeah, sure. And this is something that I'm going to be totally honest here, because this time we try to have some external reviewers or someone external to us to try our products to give credibility. Because one thing is, okay, you launch six previous projects, they were very successful also, but this is not like any other project you made before. So is this working or not? Is this for me or not? So having external validators, I think is key, and I think in the next campaign we will launch is something that we need to achieve also.
So basically get someone else to review the product ahead of time is what you're saying.
Yeah, I know is something that you need to be brave enough, because a bad review can be an issue for your campaign, but also if you have in that situation, maybe it's better to hold on the project for a few months, fix what this reviewer found, and try to improve your design.
Definitely. Do you have any thoughts on ways to find those people? Is it reaching out via Instagram or YouTube, or just trying to reach out to different publications? Or do you have any secrets there that you could share with us?
Well, I don't know. I know my team was looking for some people, and they already contact them. In our case, the issue that we have is like we have a few prototypes already made from the factory, We send them to the States, we send to Australia and to Europe, and all of them were lost. It has been like a very nightmare because I was very happy this time to have external validators, and finally we couldn't. On YouTube, there is a lot of people doing reviews. I think is the best place for that.
Got it. So basically, have some prototypes you can send out, do your best, try to find some good people, and obviously, it's something you're taking a risk with it, but it could pan out, or it could, maybe not. And it's kind of something you got to do there, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
One of the other things you mentioned in our sort of pre-show, the pre-launch, were about trying to get people excited ahead of time. I was wondering if you could like expand on that a tiny bit.
Yeah, usually when we launch a Kickstarter campaign, for me is like celebration. So I try to hide everything, so it's like a surprise. So when you launch you send a newsletter to your community, it's like a big surprise. But I realized that it works if you spend some few weeks before the launching of the campaign already sharing with the community, your community, they feel more part of it. They had some few days to digest, understand what are you planning to launch. So the boost on the first days it's higher. It helps you on Kickstarter with the Kickstarter algorithm to get better positions since the very beginning, and it helps for the rest of the campaign. If you check most of the very successful campaigns on Kickstarter, they have like a very big boost on the first days, and it's because now everybody do this kind of thing.
Definitely. So basically, that pre-launch allows you to get some funding early in, which sounds like it gives you credibility, gives you a bit of traction on the platform, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like, and also it's like you are trying to show a little bit, not everything. So this kind of mystery is also part of the seduction, and people I think want to know more and more, so they are ready, waiting for you to launch the product.
We're all being seduced, right?
Yeah, it's at the end it's part of the game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So a part of that mystery, like, are you disclosing, for example, the price of the product before you go live? What are you leaving to be mysterious before you unveil this on Kickstarter?
Well, we tried several things. We were doing some Facebook ads before the campaign. So in some cases, we were just discovering part of the product. We were discovering the idea that we were working on a sleep mask, but people didn't see the product. We did some tests with pricing just to analyze, but we didn't get relevant information. What we also did was sharing the campaign with other creators that we know personally, just to have feedback also and to help us with their teams to have some excitement also.
Okay, cool. So basically, you can do a little bit of pricing, it sounds like, but it wasn't super, I guess, statistically relevant, if you want to throw out like a good word there.
Yeah, at the end you can see the clicks, but as people is not backing the project or purchasing anything, it's not very relevant. At the end, the reality is this is the price, and now you have the ability to get it. Do you want it or not?
Yeah, exactly. That kind of binary you're going to throw in or you're not going to throw in.
Yeah.
So one of the things I think that's very difficult, and I'm sure you've experienced this before, is like maintaining momentum, right? Because you do this launch and it goes well, and then it's like, oh man, what am I gonna do? It's like week two, you're in the middle of it, and it's like, how do we keep this thing going? Is there anything you guys do on your side to do that, or just kind of leave it up to the cards and see kind of how the dice rolls?
Well, it's a mixture of both. When because we have two theories when we started. One was like we need to push everything on the first 3 days just to try to have like a very big exposure internally on Kickstarter. But then when we started talking with some platforms to share the project and to get more attention from newsletters and etc., we thought maybe it would be good to spare a little bit between the first 3 days and the next week. Weekends for us were a little bit blue. We guess people are more willing to participate over the weekdays. We decided to do it in that way. It's true that also internally, because for the campaign is one thing, but then the team also becomes a little bit unsure when you start the campaigns at the very beginning and you check the projections and the predictions for the campaign. It's like, wow, we are going to do 3 millions. So the excitement internally also is quite high. But then the reality, especially with new members that they never participated on a Kickstarter campaign, that they are very excited. And then you slightly see every day that the projections are going down, going down. And it's like a mixture of feelings, because the reality is that you are doing an amazing project, but you are not achieving that high expectation that is quite difficult to achieve those numbers that the projections give you on the first 3 days.
One of the questions I had for you was on the designer front. So, like, you have had this career of building other products for people, right? And then you guys transitioned to making your own products. Would you say that it's more satisfying to do your own, or is it just a different set of challenges? Or what are your thoughts on that? Like, looking back, that seems to be a pretty pivotal moment in your life and your career when you made that decision, right? Are you happy
Yeah,
with that? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
yes, I'm super happy. We are very happy, very proud, because we love the freedom that we have creating, not just doing the design, but controlling the whole experience. As I said before, when we were talking about the retailing, we have the chance to listen the people. We have the chance to put the users and the center of our paper, and then build around the whole experience. When we were working for clients, is also there is some another kind of satisfaction, and the nice thing on that is like you have a brief, you develop the solution for that brief, and that's it, and you start something else. So as a designer in that way is like, okay, I can develop many projects, because I just take part of that part of the whole life of a product. But since the beginning, we started enjoying, and we are designers, but we also love the manufacturing side. We love visiting factories. We love spending time with our suppliers. We learn a lot. We learn from this project to the next project, new techniques, and yeah, I would say that we are building a very nice relationships with them, and now they share with us, hey, we bought this machine, what do you think we can do with that? Hey, we discovered this technique, you should consider in for the next project. So this kind of relationships also are quite nice.
That's so cool. It's a massive team effort, and not
Yeah,
just with your team, but with all these other people you're working with in the supply chain.
definitely. And this year it has been also quite hard in that way, because we usually travel several times per year just to visit our suppliers. But this year it was impossible. So I think in that way we were very lucky that we built some relationships before. This year we have to manage everything online. It has been challenging, but I think it's because we have those good relationships with them.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome, man. Well, do you have any final things you'd like to leave the audience with when it comes to tips? Otherwise, it would be also great if you could share where they can go and learn more about your product.
Yeah, probably the greatest thing you can get on Kickstarter is the community. It's a massive opportunity to exposure your ideas, your project to many people, and if you do it well, you can start a project with a lot of
So this has been awesome, man. Do you have a final tip you'd like to share with the audience? And then you can also just share the link where people can go to buy the products.
Sure. I think for me, Kickstarter is all about its community. I think if you are planning to launch a campaign, especially if it's your first campaign, taking care of the community, be there for answering any question that they have, it can be like a very way to plant the seeds for a very successful project in the long term in the future, because this community is quite strong, I will say. But also we know that in the first days of our campaign we will receive a lot of previous backers that they trust on us. So if your idea is to create several projects on Kickstarter, I think taking care of them is key.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna just say that's completely on point, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think is the most important thing. You can make like a great product, but if you don't take care of the community at the end of the campaign, you are going to have like a very bad situation. And it's better to open a Shopify store, sell the product there, and that's it. And well, Salvador, thank you very much for your questions.
Definitely, man. And also, where can people go to learn more about your product?
We are finishing Kickstarter campaign tomorrow. Then we are going to jump into Indiegogo. But anyway, you can speak with us, and you can find us on ostrichpillow.com. The project of iMask will be probably by the end of the year available there. For the moment, we will be on the crowdfunding platforms.
Awesome. Thank you, Pablo, for coming on, and good luck with the Indiegogo.
Thank you, Salvador. Bye-bye.
Hey, man, thank you for listening to this episode of the Crowdfunding Demystified podcast. Hope you got some gold-plated knowledge today, that you got some really great training that you can apply to your upcoming crowdfunding campaign, to your e-commerce launch, whatever it is you're trying to do. I hope that you are more successful for having listened to this podcast and this interview. And not only that, but I would love to be a bigger part, play a larger role, I would say, in your success. So kind of as different layers, right? So it kind of starts with a podcast or YouTube channel, and like I can provide a certain degree of help and education and hand-holding there. However, I can go an even layer deeper when it comes to my coaching students. And that's really what I want to talk about at the moment, really quickly, bite-sized. If you are interested in joining my community and also getting regular one-on-one coaching calls with me, with Salvador Briggman, which you can schedule immediately upon joining the community, you're going to want to listen to the link I'm about to mention, because not only do you get that, but also you get tons of great training that I do not share anywhere else. We really have complete hand-holding. We have support in the community. We have students that are interacting with each other, and you can also learn and not only get insights into Kickstarter itself, but also some of the little-known stuff that no one talks about online. I'm talking about like video tips, advice when it comes to the layout, the Kickstarter campaign layout, the pre-launch, which you're not even familiar with what that is. I go in depth into that. Other things like image selection, copywriting, you name it. It's basically a crash course in marketing. And I promise you, if you follow it to a T, it's literally the A to Z blueprint for running your own Kickstarter campaign without any other kind of help or agency or anything like that. So I put a lot of effort and a lot of training, a lot of my own attention and passion into this work. I try to bring my own pizzazz, but to kind of top that all off, you also get one-on-one coaching calls with me on a regular basis, which is super exciting if you've been looking to connect in that way. So if you want to check it out, you can go and sign up today. Go to crowdcrux.com/mastermind. That link is crowdcrux.com/mastermind. crowdcrux.com/mastermind. This is a great community. If you want to do it yourself, you want to learn the marketing, if you want to apply these sort of paint by numbers formulas to your project, this is what you're looking for. If you want to do something different, like you have a really big budget and you want to consider hiring an expert like myself to run the entire thing for you, you can always reach out to me at crowdcrux.com. Just go there and you can contact me in my about section. I can't guarantee I will get back to you. I'm like super overloaded right now when it comes to inbound messages and lots of people who are wanting to work with me. So I can't always guarantee it, but I will do my best to get to you there if that's something that you would like to pursue. Thank you again so much. My name is Salvador Briggman. Hope you got a lot of value out of today's lesson. lesson out of this class, and I will see you next time.